What's going on, everyone? This is ODC, it's me, and I'm back with another action figure review. This is my review of the Star Wars Black Series The Force Awakens First Order SnowTrooper Officer. This is a Toys R Us exclusive. You can only get it at your Toys R Us, obviously. But it looks really cool. I did pick up him today, and pretty happy about it. I had to do this review right away. Super excited. I found a couple, and actually by a couple I mean one for me and one for my good friend Rob from Rob's Rogues. So he was looking for one, and I was like, if one of us happen to see one, you know, if he sees it first, I sees it first. Oh God! If I see it first, you know, grab one for me, I'll grab one for him. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, collectors unite. This is the nice window box display. Talking about the figure now. It does have a nice picture of the First Order SnowTrooper on the bottom here. He does come with two accessories, but we'll get to that in a second. It says Star Wars, the Black Series. And on the side, does not have a number. It just says First Order SnowTrooper. And then in another language. On the back, it has a picture of the SnowTrooper again, and a little read-up. It says, the latest generation of cold weather assault Stormtroopers. Stormtroopers wear advanced insulated armor and helmets that reduce glare of icy terrain. So, I guess the most minimal read-up you could possibly imagine in 4 different languages. I wish we just had one read-up. That would be nice, you know. An in-depth read-up would be nice. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get the SnowTrooper out of packaging, and we'll take a closer look at him. Okay, and we're back with the SnowTrooper officer out of packaging, and he looks really good. I do have to say, the sculpt on him is very well done. He's really clean looking. Trying to give you guys a little 360. He does come with 2 accessories. He does come with his backpack right here and his blaster rifle. Taking a look at the backpack, the lines on this look pretty clean for the most part. It goes a little bit off towards this section up here and around the side over there. But for the most part, the lines are pretty well done. It was just that one little spot. So that looks good. On the bottom, nothing really painted. On the other side, there's a different sculpt according from this side going on to that side. So a little bit different there. Looks really good. Next, we have the blaster rifle, which is different from the First Order Stormtrooper blaster rifle. This is very similar to what Captain Phasma uses. So it does have a stock, which I will show you. Here's the First Order Stormtrooper. So there's the differences in the two. And like I said, the backpack does just plug right into the back. And like I was saying earlier, there are, you know, I mean, he's not a perfect figure. There are some flaws with this figure. The articulation is very hindered with this guy, and he doesn't have the best range of motion. That is probably the biggest 2 drawbacks for this figure. Is the range of motion is not so good. Not so good. Not so good or not so good. But as far as, you know, the sculpting goes, he's beautifully done. I really do like this new design for the SnowTrooper as opposed to like the Dum Dum head, which is, well, I like to call it the Dum Dum head. Have you guys ever eaten Dum Dums, the candy? The head's kind of similar to that. Although you know, the old SnowTroopers are still really cool looking and very similar to this design, except for I'd say the helmet. But for the most part, I would say it's pretty similar to this. It hasn't changed too much. So I think it looks really cool. The a little bit of an annoying thing, that there's a little pet peeve that I have. The gun's a little bit loose, or I should say not the gun. The rifle is a little bit loose in his trigger finger hand. He can hold it in both hands. It's not a big issue. In this hand, he's just kind of holding it so it looks kind of awkward. This one does have a trigger finger, and I guess you could just kind of, to tighten the grip, you could kind of push his fingers together or use some hot water, cold water, freezing technique to get the hands a little bit more snug on around the rifle. But it's not the worst thing in the world. It's just maybe on mine that it's really loose, but it does jiggle. Now it's not going to do it, of course, but it's been doing it the last 20 minutes. The big difference between this one, the only difference between this SnowTrooper officer and the SnowTrooper that's going to be available in wave either, I believe in wave 3 or 4, is the shoulder pad. That's it. They're going to be pretty much exactly the same, I'm pretty sure. Maybe they might come with a different blaster. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure it's just a shoulder pad that's going to be different. So if you're, you can't find one and you're all flustered, oh damn it, I can't find this guy, I want the officer, it's okay. You can still get the regular trooper, and if you have, let's say an extra sand trooper lying around, you could pop the head off this guy and put the shoulder pad on, and there you go. You have yourself a first order Stormtrooper officer. Just a thought. But as far as his articulation goes, his head does move side to side. Not the best range of motion there, and this is really where it gets into the cons for the figure, I should say. The down point. It does jiggle up and down a little bit, but doesn't really want to look up and doesn't really want to look down. We got no job turkeys. Oh no. He can't really do the head tilt at all. His arms go up about this far, and that's pretty much it. He cannot go any further because of the shoulder pads hindering it. He can do a full 360 rotation. He does have the single bend at the elbow. He does have the elbow swivel. I wish they would go back to double jointed elbows and double jointed elbows and a bicep swivel like they had on the old Stormtroopers. Especially with the troopers, I would prefer they would have double jointed elbows. He does have the diaphragm joint, which were pretty much all the Black Series figures have now, or have had, for that matter. It doesn't really want to pivot side to side, so hindered there. It just pretty much wants to swivel, and that's it. Both his legs can go forward about that far. And they do have a bicep swivel. God, do have an upper thigh swivel, excuse me. He also has, if you kind of hike this dress up, or skirt, I should say, he can do the splits about that far. He could probably go more, but this is really getting in the way. And this is a pliable plastic, so you can kind of get it to go up, and then if you really want him to go out, you can go out a little bit further. So there's that. He does have double jointed knees. Let me try and get both. There we go. There we go. So good range of motion there. And now we're lacking in more range of motion here. His feet can go up and down. He does have the regular hinge joint at the ankle, but it's really hindered because of the cuff on his pants here. Even the ankle pivot is kind of hindered, which is kind of a bummer. But there it is there. You can kind of use it if you really want to get him some wide stances, like so. He will stand, even though he's standing really awkward right now. But so those are the pros and the cons to the articulation. He also does have a wrist swivel. Sorry, I didn't go through that. And a hinge, which goes back and forth, left and right. This one is also left and right, so he doesn't have the Jedi up and down movement like this. So, but for the most part, I would say he is aesthetically appealing. He looks really good. He can actually hold his rifle in both hands as well. So there you go. Oops. There we go. So he can hold the rifle in both hands. If you're going to try and get him into a shooting pose, good luck, because you're probably going to just have to have him hold it with one hand, which doesn't really make much sense if you know. That's pretty much all you're going to have to do. You can't really hold it aiming with two hands, which is kind of a failure, but I still think that this figure looks really good, though. I love the sculpt on this guy. Especially, I love the attention to detail and sculpt in the legs. I think that's where the sculpting really looks the best, I think. Especially for the boots and this kind of like armored material right here. I love this chest piece. It looks really good. And there is a little bit of paint application inside there. Looks like a breathing regulator or something like that. That's what I'm guessing. He does have some painted lines going on his helmet, which they're a little bit off up on the helmet. So if you do have a chance, there are a bunch of these. Take a look and try and find the best one, because mine was a little bit off. As far as the shoulder pads, those are both pretty good. The shoulder pad is painted pretty well as well. The lines look pretty good on that. And I'd say for the most part, he's probably a solid figure. He's not the best figure that's out there, but him being an exclusive to a toy store, it's going to be annoying to try and get. So, happy hunting. Good luck to all of you trying to find this guy. I know a lot of scalpers are out there that kind of ruin the experience for us collecting, going store to store. But, yeah, so with that being said, would I recommend this figure? Yes, I would, especially if you're a Star Wars fan and you really want this new version of a SnowTrooper. Hopefully we get the old version too. I would like that. I would definitely like to see that. But as far as new characters that you would like to see in figure form, who would you like to see? I do know that the New York Comic Con did release some photos of what was it, the older Han Solo. I'll get to that in my sit down Saturday though. But let me know who you would like. Who is your favorite character, and who would you like to see that isn't going to be made? Like Darth Revan's going to be released, so we don't need him. You can knock him off the list. He's going to be released next year, so he won the fan vote. So, but who else would you like to see? Let me know in the comments below. I'm pretty interested to see what you guys have to say. So, with that being said, let me end this review, and hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Rate, hate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.